Good day, everyone. This is Dr. Kevin Bethel here in the Bahamas, speaking on behalf of myself as a family physician, speaking on behalf of a general, larger audience of physicians and concerned citizens called optimists. I'm speaking today to the Bahamian people to please start having a dialogue about the upcoming World Health Organization vote, which is a vote that will give the World Health Organization and other similar related organizations the power to override individual countries, individual governments, individual citizen rights to basic things like healthcare. This is a very serious juncture in history that we're facing right now. We've been through 2 years of total mismanagement of a crisis. I'm not going to go into the details. Most of you have heard me speak on this issue several times. When we usurp our medical rights and give them away to an outside governing body, it leaves us very little wiggling room to do anything in terms of public policy and public health. And the main issue is I'm going to point out the difference between public health and medical care. They're not the same. I don't think that most people, politicians, medical doctors, and the general public understand the difference between public health and medical care. The basic premises of medical care is that there is a individual, personalized medical care that is the paramount. That's the best medical care that you can achieve, where the physicians that are in your care know your medical history, your personal religious and ethical concerns. They know your personal history of allergies to medications and reactions to medications, etc., and they know, put all that together to put together out of the available treatment options. That's another thing. When you have directed medical care coming from the outside, telling us to use things that are too expensive for us to implement or not even available locally, that doesn't serve anyone good. So we have to look at what's actually available. So when your physician recommends some treatment or medication for you, or they're looking at all of these factors and what is actually available to you. So that's medical care. Now, public health is a different matter. Public health doesn't look at individual medical care. They're looking at population care. And their mandate is to sacrifice the minority's interest for the majority's interest. So if a public policy comes out, they're going to, and there's a choice between A or B, and A has consequences that are going to be deleterious or dangerous to a minority, but beneficial to a majority, they will choose that. But what about the people that suffer in the minority from side effects and deaths and lack of access to care, right? So this is why there needs to be a balance. I am not saying that it's an either-or situation. It's 50-50. We need personalized medical care and public health policy, but they're different. They're like two sides of a scale that need to be balanced correctly. And if we go too far one way or the other, it's very dangerous. The scales will tip, fall, and totally disintegrate. So the upcoming vote, the World Health Organization and other organizations that are related, like the World Economic Forum and other organizations, are all voting to, in small ways, incrementally, take away the right of individual countries and individual governments to govern themselves, turning over all of this decision-making to public health policy. And the public health policy, as they're implementing it, takes away the individual rights to access to medical care. So how does this manifest itself? It manifests itself in what we have seen over the past 2 years, where medical care has eroded to a simple cookbook style of medicine, where physicians are basically like robots that are not allowed to speak up for individual patient rights. They just have to follow the mandate that's handed down from them from somewhere above in the chain of command, as they say. But ultimately, it's coming from an outside source, from an international body, something along the kins of the World Health Organization. And we've seen the disaster of that. Now, I will touch on the other danger of public health. At its worst, public health policy becomes a system where the public health policy makers are actually just agents for big industry, and they are making policy that is not in the benefit of any population. They're making decisions that are in the benefit of the profits of the companies and organizations that they represent. We've seen this over and over and over again the past 2 years. So now that it's been beaten upon us, now they want to codify it with yes votes from individual countries to give them even more powers to do such things, to tell countries that no, you cannot use this type of medicine, no, you cannot provide this type of care, and you must only do this. And it's handed down, and individual